It's beer and breakfast at the Brickies. It's the Luton Town Show. And I'm joined by Wedge. And we got Phil back. How we doing, chaps?
Not a very good morning. But
yeah, I've had happier days. It would have been nice to have a glorious return after missing a few weeks and be able to talk about a win. But alas, here we are, staring down the barrel of a gun.
Not been here.
I know, maybe it's like you with the away games, isn't it? Like between us, there's some unfortunately pretty ugly patterns going on. But
someone asked me about West Brom yesterday. I was like, I'm not touching away games for the rest of the season. Not that it will matter, but I just can't go.
No, you're not allowed.
That's a good thing because none of us are going to go to that. So we decided we're going to be here at the Brickies, and we're going to set up in the snug outside, and we're going to record a pod pretty much straight afterwards. Immediate reactions, happiness, elation, commiserations. We'll see how it goes.
Happy that the season's over. Sad that we'll be in League One.
Yeah, well, it's not cut and dry yet. Obviously, it looks very bleak right now following the result Saturday, 3 p.m., which, we'll discuss it because obviously this goes out on Monday, so we can't really say yesterday because people are like, oh, Luton didn't play yesterday on Sunday. But yeah, it'll be good down here at the Brickies. We'll have an extra mic set up so people can jump on, give their thoughts as well. We'll go for a bit. Well, we'll go for as long as people don't throw bottles at our heads, or my head. We'll see how it goes.
Going to have you down here with a big American football helmet on, just to
yeah. Well, I'll wear a bike helmet. Yeah.
Cut the face up. Just leave the head alone.
You're giving too many people ideas by using the word helmet too often already. So can we just start with a helmet?
But yeah. Anyway, so. Off the back of, I think, 1 loss in 5, Luton were doing so well. Blackburn rolls into town, winless under Valerian Ismail. 2 draws in 9 games, haven't won in 10. Worst run of form in the league. This is one where we've been talking about on the championship content on the Luton Town stuff we've done. Blackburn, that's again, we have to win this.
Yeah.
Had to win this.
Expected to win. I mean,
we expected to win it.
Especially, it's not like Blackburn have been losing to Burnleys and Leeds and teams like that. They've been losing to Derby and Cardiff and
all
Hull.
the teams around us.
So yeah, it was like if we don't win, I mean, we don't deserve to stay up, do we? Let's be honest.
Yeah. I think that's the thing that there's been a theme of this for the last few months as well, is that when you talk about the teams that Blackburn have lost to, that is a very finite example of how it feels like our luck has been. And I know that you can't put everything down to luck, I get that, but it feels like whenever we're good and whenever we pick up points, every other so-and-so does around us. And it's the same with missed opportunities as well. Like you think about the Stoke game. Again, we had the Stoke obviously yesterday, and then we got Derby. Those are the 3 games where you're thinking, right, okay, pick up 7 to 9 points, and we're in a really good position. But it just feels like whatever factors are at play. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I know that you can only do what you can do. You need to take stuff in your own hand.
Control the controllables. Yeah, that means win your bloody games.
Yeah, win your games. And like I say, you have Blackburn rolling into town on that sort of form. And we've mentioned it before on about sort of Dr. Luton rolling into town. And obviously, in the form we're in at the moment, you think, no, that's not. It's different. It's different. No, we're at home. We understand the importance, but ultimately, we have done just that. We've given them just the tonic to finish off their season. They're nothing, by the way, like Blackburn in terms of like they've not got anything to play for. They're not going to get in the playoffs. They're not going to go down. They're just sort of technically they could just be on the beach right now, but they still went at it, and that's fair play to them.
One chance.
Well,
that's all it takes.
The point is they won.
Yeah,
and that's the thing. If we won 1-0 and we put on their display yesterday, you'd be thinking, all right, fair enough, we've taken 3 points. You'd be elated by it.
Yeah,
it's fine margins in that game because I reckon there was 2 bits of quality, one from each team. There's one where Blackburn scored their goal. They had a nice little passage of 1-2 passing, played a Hashi through. Kaminsky hesitated just that little bit, didn't he? But still, I mean, Hashi still had the time to not take it on the inside of his right foot, but he kind of
he went across it on his right foot.
I'm
Right.
like, how have you got that
Fantastic
time?
finish.
Was
I had to
great
watch that
finish.
back
Yeah.
a couple of times because I
And
didn't really
that's-
see it at the time.
That was their piece of quality in the game. They capitalised, and then we had Aasgaard, who obviously run in that diagonal run, sold a couple of plays, thinking I thought he was going to shoot from 30 yards out, and he got closer, and he crashed it against the underside of the.
It was a
of
great
the
shot.
crossbar. It was, I mean, but
I
like
hope
it's
we
those
keep him
fine
next year.
margins, you know,
Hell of a player.
he is.
Build the team around him.
But they're the fine margins. Our piece of quality, you know, is that far from going over the line, and they take theirs. And
Ali hit the bar as well at the end, didn't he? As well,
Yeah,
that was
I
a bit
mean,
of a weird floaty type.
it was. I thought he got a
trajectory.
deflection, but
Yeah.
I think it was.
No,
just,
it was a
just-
clean
yeah, it was
hit.
a clean
Clean,
hit.
it just
I
flew.
didn't it?
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people saying, "Oh, Ali, rubbish." Like, listen to 3CR.
Yeah,
Afterwards, everyone's going on Ali, saying, "Oh, play him up top. He's rubbish at left wing back." I think he was perfectly serviceable at left wing back. The fact is, we have no one because we put all our eggs in the Doughty basket. And if Doughty were to have been sold or lost form or got injured, which, you know, two of the three have happened, we're screwed.
I think the argument would have been earlier on in the season, potentially when we. I don't want to draw him into the negativity, but Bell's had a hard season, right? And the last few games he's been decent,
Yeah,
but
he has.
he's been sort of protected by being on that sort of left side of centre back. And if you would say to me at the start of the season when Doughty gets injured, what do? I would naturally go, well, you push Bell out to left wing back because we know that he can go forward, and you put one of the centre backs, whichever one that may be, left centre back, and maybe that's a missed opportunity for those people that are saying about Ali and wanting him further up the pitch. Could have potentially, if put Mengi on to start with, Burke to start with, whatever it is, we had options
Naismith.
defensively on the bench.
Yeah, Naismith, like, who's
Yeah,
been sensational for us
Yeah.
in the first couple of games, and
No,
now
Smith,
he's not
has
even,
he?
No.
not even getting in the team.
No, and I don't understand that because in
Just
a
that
game,
leadership. It's
in-
not like
yeah,
Locks
well,
is
it's-
giving us the leadership, is he?
Well, no, it's not.
He's
There's the
not playing
leadership,
golf
but there's
or
also
whatever.
the fact that he's a bloody good footballer and he actually plays football on the floor from the
Progressively.
back, and he progresses through the lines and he passes the ball and he takes risks, and I just don't understand why he's not been playing. And it's easy to sort of moan because we lost the game yesterday, but I can't fathom that for
I
the last
think
few
it's
weeks. I don't get it.
by virtue of Makosso, and
Yeah.
they want to play McGuinness in the middle. To be honest, I think Naismith would probably be a better shout than McGuinness in the middle. I don't know, but then you have Bell, and you need Bell's pace because Naismith doesn't have the same pace. I don't know really. The subs yesterday were all subs on Saturday were all a bit strange.
Yeah. It was
Chong was probably the only one I agreed with coming off.
Yeah, I mean Chong didn't
It-
get. I was saying
abject.
I was in the
Awful.
first half, but after about half hour, I was like, I don't think Chong's touched the ball. But it's difficult to impact the game when he's not. It was all down our left side. It was all through Ali, wasn't it? And Chong was just getting no service whatsoever, and it's difficult to impact the game when you don't have the ball anywhere near you. So, yeah, I mean, he's still.
When he got the ball, couldn't
Yeah.
trap it, ran out of play.
And that's, I mean, he's not
couldn't
the
do
only one,
anything,
like-
couldn't make anything happen.
I mean, Izzy Jones, he never seems to be fully in control of the ball. Bell's touch was a little bit abject sometimes. Morris just, his touches.
He
and
looks
the thing,
knackered,
like,
mate. He looks
That's the thing,
knackered
he's
after
spent
10
and
minutes.
but he's not doing
so
the
many
basic,
minutes.
like when you can see that he's trying to, if the ball comes into him, he is trying to then, you know, flick it around the corner to the right wing back or the left wing back. But he's not doing it on the deck. He's flicking it up. And then, you know, Jones or Ali's then got to bring that ball down, which is at chest height, rather than playing it on the... Because football's played on the deck, right?
You can play in the air.
You can, but when you are playing one-touch football, you play it on the deck because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
it. It's one touch.
They're always trying to recreate that QPR goal. You know, Doughty's goal where
Yeah.
fired it into Morris's chest and they like laid
But that's
off on
yeah.
the
that's
volley.
the underrated thing about that goal
Yeah.
because Doughty's first touch was unbelievable to
Yeah.
even get it in a position where he could strike it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But and there's, I mean, it was when they were, and we made those subs. Let's be honest, 5 seconds before they went down to 10 men as well,
Yeah.
which is terrible timing. Because you think, oh, if we had someone with a lot of pace on the right wing rather than Reece Burke, I don't understand why he
bring
played
on Reece Burke at right
was-
wing back.
again. I think Bloomfield yesterday's got he made a fair few mistakes yesterday, I think. But yeah, I've lost my train of thought.
I think his interview afterwards. I watched his interview afterwards, and I think that you could see in his face, he's like, "Oh, I've made a right hash of today."
But that does happen.
It does happen, and
Yeah.
you'll have those days, and the credit is in the bank over in terms of the form of the last 5 games, but the credit only there's not a lot of it. There's not enough games to be running on credit.
Yeah.
When
you go 1-0 down and you bring 2 centre backs on for a striker, a winger, and a centre back, it doesn't strike to me like, I'm going all out to get something from this game.
I think it was more legs than formation that he was after.
Yeah, Makoto was. Well, he's young, but he'd done a lot of running, covered a lot of ground, a lot of tracking.
And he
back.
has done over the last few weeks. There was a couple of instances, I think it was against Leeds, where he was literally the guy taking the throw in. He was up level with the 6-yard box, and he was the man putting in the tackle in our 6-yard box. The geezer has got some serious stamina, but he's been playing pretty much week in, week out since he got that half on at the Watford game. Yeah. He's
been subbed quite early the last couple of games, hasn't he? I don't know whether he's...
Is he carrying something? A little niggle,
It's because we've got so many defenders that we're trying to play back into form. But
so we can get him in the window like Mengi? Have some minutes, Ted, and
I
then
imagine
piss off.
so, because these players are going to be on some serious salaries. And I've mentioned it before, like, the finances showed, like, the average salary was 40k, 35 to 40k. Like, you take 30% off that, players are in the high 20s, 27 or so. Take 30% off that for another relegation release, players are on 15 to 20k in League One. That is not sustainable.
I mean, it's a massive overhaul, isn't it? Surely the summer
all the
is a
players,
massive overhaul.
essentially everyone over 15k in the summer. Obviously, we have a lot more money in the bank. Everyone over 15k has to go.
Yeah.
Which is a shame. I hope Aasgaard's not one of those.
Like you said earlier on, you mentioned about like building our team around it. The one thing I'd say that we've got to our advantage is that he's been down in League One, obviously, with Wigan, and he would be assured that the team would be basically built around him and that give us another season. You've only been here 6 months.
Well, you'd hope so, but the thing is, there's no director of football.
No, but the other thing is as well is that you think about like how he's done well even since he's been here. Like I was speaking to some Leeds fans last week, and even they were like, if we go up, he's the sort of one that I would look at even taking as a bit of a risk and taking up into Premier League. The guy's strong. He's playing for Norway.
He's the Ross Barkley replacement.
So
he's the Barkley replacement we needed at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean the way
I wouldn't have trusted him with Edwards though.
No, it's the way that he carries the ball and the way that he holds himself. He's strong. He's a stocky lad from sort of like the waist down. He's difficult to get off the ball and
wins free kicks.
Yeah,
like
and you
a
think
lot of other players don't. Like,
and he's got like he's been brought up well in terms of like where he was as a youth player. And when you see him play for Norway, it might be the argument against me might be, well, anyone would find it easy when you're playing alongside Odegaard and Haaland.
And playing
but the point is
Montenegro.
Yeah, but the point is that he got man of the match, and he was the sort of driving force in their last international game, and he was mixing it with them.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And
he's
it's
a talent.
It's one of those ones where you see the way that he strikes the ball, the way he manoeuvres into space. Like League One, he with us, he could be absolutely sensational, but surely someone's going to take a punt on him after seeing him. I think when I look at the squad, like if I look at the starting lineup and who I think will be there next season, I think that Makoso would still be there. I think that
McGuinness will be there.
I don't think McGuinness will be there. I
You
think
don't
someone
think-
will take a punt on
You think
McGuinness.
someone will take McGuinness?
I think Kaminsky will be gone. I think McGuinness will be gone. I think Jones will go.
Clark, Walsh.
I think we'll keep Clark will stay. Chong will be off. I think Ali will stay with us. I think he's still got stuff to prove. I don't think anyone's going to have seen what he's done so far, and think that's enough to have him full time in the Championship. I think he'll have to sort of earn his stripes with us. And he's only just got into the team. Let's face it, he's been on the subs bench for the vast majority
He's come
of the
from
time.
League One as well.
Yeah.
He's come from like a very middling League One team.
Walsh. I'm not too sure about Walsh. I think that he's had a good second half to the season, and it sort of depends on whether there's any interest in him and what his contract's like. But
I can't imagine he's on a big contract. He was a free agent.
Exactly.
And, he was trying to find his feet on football again.
Yeah, and I think that the other two, like you look at Bell and Morris. Now
they got to go.
You say this, but
you
like,
don't want like a 31-year-old left centre back whose best football's behind him.
But that's the thing. We're going.
If
You're doing this hypothetically that we're going down to League One, do you want the experience of a 31-year-old international footballer and Morris up front that can come on potentially and be a bit of a bully?
But conversely, at the same time, we're going to switch to a 4-2-3-1. Like, essentially, it's just playing this system until the end of the season. If we stay up, happy days. Pat yourselves on the backs, 2020. You've done it. But if we go down, then it's fire sale or firing squad.
It's going to be.
I don't think it would have to be that, even if we do stay up. I still think we need a clear out just to get.
Well, like Sabelle, I'm going to fit into a 4-2-3-1. And Morris has to go. His legs are gone. Yeah. For the good of his career, he needs to go.
But where does he go?
I don't care.
No, but I'm not. I know you don't. I know you don't. But But again, what I'm trying to remind you of is if you're looking at how he is and how his legs are going, he's not a bad footballer. So he'll be looking at it going, well, I can be a fully serviceable striker in League One. I will bully everyone.
Collins, he's still scoring goals.
Well, he's not bullying anyone. He got bullied by Danny Bath today.
He would do in League One.
Oh yeah. Oh, on Saturday. Sorry.
At the weekend.
At the weekend. Yeah, he got bullied by Danny Bath.
League One, he would be. He might, even if he doesn't start.
There are a lot of boys that are bigger than him in League One.
I just think that he's. Yeah, I think that he would if he did stay with us, I wouldn't be like hugely upset. I don't want him to be, I'm not saying that he's him as a starter. I'm not saying that. Please don't get me wrong and thinking I want to build the team around Carlton Morris as our striker.
It's not a big salary.
But yeah, that's the
thing.
problem. That's the problem.
One, I think that in January we needed a goal scoring striker.
That's why they put so much effort into Kone, wasn't it? As well.
Yeah, and
he's gone off the boil.
He has,
but we just didn't, and we got in so many positions yesterday where we could have crossed the ball. But even I was thinking, like, if we do cross the ball, we ain't going to win.
Morris was always at the back stick. Morris was always at the back stick, and he made the run across the face of goal forwards.
But you could
Chong
see
was
that.
Ahead of him,
I think you could see that Bloomfield had given instructions that we were trying to get in behind and as close to the byline as possible to try and pull the ball back, rather than when we are in line with the 18-yard line and just whipping it in. With that wasn't the game plan. It was literally try and get Ali in behind. It would have been nice to have Jones in behind as well, but we had Burke.
That's how we scored against Leeds, because he was backing up the play.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just as if even Matt Bloomfield doesn't have that. What's the word?
Tactical nous.
No. Just
insight
to the. I can't even think.
It's early on a Sunday morning, bro. But the thing is,
the confidence that someone will be able to get their head on the ball if we do put an actual proper cross in. And it was the same. It's the same against Stoke. The amount of times we could have crossed the ball, but no. I mean, there was a particular incident yesterday where the ball, I think, got deflected and went really high around about the penalty spot, and Nordas came flying in, and he just went like this, and he just tried to block the defenders from going and getting the ball. Why don't you go and get the ball?
Yeah,
you
that's
are
Nordas.
6'4", but he just went in and he just kind of just went and backed in and put his arms out.
Hold me back.
He's waiting for his delivery.
Yeah. Next day delivery, guys. Can you believe it?
Well, he's your replacement.
I think the thing is,
got no other attacking options.
That's the thing.
Just bring in someone from the academy.
Yeah. And that's where it's difficult as well. When you look at the caliber of striker we've got, they all pretty much feed off of, you would think they all feed off of balls in the air. Yeah. And that's the thing, we haven't got like a fox in the box type thing. You remember that old phrase, the fox in the box? Francis Jeffers. Yeah. But we don't have that. We don't have anyone that can come on and I would argue get like a sliding goal.
Jacob Brown.
Jacob Brown would, but he's always injured.
Do you know who he had? Joe Taylor. Can you imagine if we kept
he's
Joe
injured
Taylor?
as well, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
He went to Huddersfield, and I don't know if he's. I think he's come back from injury now. He scored a couple of games ago, but
Joe Taylor was the type of striker that you're angling for here.
Yeah,
we'll make good money on him though.
Yeah, a lot the sort of fashion
play
for footballers
through
to get to
between the
byline
lines
and then pull the ball back at such an angle that it's on the penalty spot. So that if you're going to do it, whereas the old-fashioned one, where you would do, if you get to the 6-yard line, you flash that across the box and you wait for someone to slide in.
A corridor of uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas where we sort of feel like we are doing that is that we're having to loft it up to play on headers, because we haven't got anyone that's got the sort of speed of thought to actually sort of slide in, or it's coming to the edge of the box and if we're lucky there's someone walking into it. But it does frustrate me that we've not had that all season.
Yeah.
Our ability to score, I mean, with the lowest scorers in the league,
Do you know
our ability
what
to score is dire.
Do you know what else we don't do as well, and would have been perfect yesterday with Higham and Bath yesterday on Saturday, because this is out on Monday.
In the last fixture.
The last fixture in my brain. Sliding the ball through between defenders. We do none of that.
No.
None of that. You know, and I would have thought with Chong,
and you look at Blackburn's goal, what do they do?
Well, you look at Chong and Izzy Jones, and you kind of think, right, if you
slide it between
the lines and get him in behind.
Yeah. And Ali
we
as well.
do none of that.
Pace.
We do none of that.
No.
Yeah. Well, Ali, you know, but Jones and Ali playing left and right, really high and wide.
You'd think.
Yeah. Well, that's the point. If you slide the ball between the lines to them, you're out on the wings.
Yeah.
We don't do any of that either.
No.
And when it were down to 10, all we were doing was just pass in front of them. Exactly what they wanted. They had 10 men behind the ball in a low block, 2 banks of 5, and they were just.
Yeah. And it was. I mean, I say we took away the right side because Burke's not going to be that attacking. I mean, I know he is. He can be attacking, but he's just not that way inclined. And the amount of times you saw Mengi just switching the ball from right over to Ali, it was like, yeah, this is what we're going to do. We're just going to ping it over to Ali. And I'll be honest, I think Dolan for Blackburn had an outstanding game. I knew he was good anyway.
Really relieved the pressure, didn't he?
But he did a really good job against Ali. And
we were linked with him a little while back, and it was exciting because he's a good footballer.
Yeah,
he's a really good footballer.
No chance we're getting him now.
No.
They're a hell of a footballer.
Yeah. He was outstanding against Ali. I think blocked the crosses, strength, pace. He just
low centre of gravity,
really,
fast, fleet foot. Yeah, good player.
I will say, you mentioned it earlier. I was listening to 3 Counters on the way back from the game yesterday, and there was a lot of people slating Ali, considering they were singing his praises, you know, against Stoke when he came on. I don't think he had a bad game. I think he was the only player who had the ball and would just run and try and create problems. Yeah, there was a couple of shots where, you know, he made the wrong choice.
He was having a go though.
Yeah,
no one else other than Aasgaard. No one else was having a go.
And
from
be
distance.
brave. Yeah.
Exactly. He was just trying to
different.
make something out of nothing.
Don't do a Chong, you know, like always take the easy option, or just miscontrol it out of play, or just on that one occasion he just passed. He tried to find Ali, misplaced the pass from like 5 yards.
Yeah,
completely missed him. Yeah, that was pathetic. That was right in front of me.
Yeah.
Had to clap and go, well done, Chong.
Yeah.
But you think, you said it in the group chat during the game, didn't you? Like, the squad, up until we get to those attacking options, it's a very good starting lineup, isn't it? Yeah. You know, I don't feel like we're going to concede every time that the other team are attacking now. Just can't score. No. And that's going to be a downfall. That's and I'll be honest, you know, Blackburn singing "That's Why You're Going Down," you kind of have to.
Yeah, you're like, fair enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Singing Thomas Kaminski as well.
I was amazed we didn't get more against Leeds last week. You know, when we were sort of saying Leeds are falling apart again, I was amazed that they didn't sing "Well, You're Going Down." But
I mean, Blackburn haven't got anything to sing about, have they? So they'll whereas Leeds have got
other things on their mind.
Yeah, but
right. Well, Derby next,
isn't it? Yeah.
And you're shaking your head.
I just don't see us getting anything.
No,
they can't stop
Derby are on
scoring.
good run of form.
Derby are absolutely on fire. I know they lost one game in like the last 5 or 6 games, but
Eustace has done a job there.
Yeah.
As soon as it clicked, it properly clicked. Yeah. Like, it took a few weeks to get himself sort of in a situation where they were working towards what he wanted. But since then they've been, and I think it was there was a situation yesterday when they were 2-1 up against Pompey where they actually overtaken Pompey, and in my head I'm like, no, Pompey they're off, they're fine. Yeah. They're I think that they're the sort of threshold in terms of the table where it's safe from there above. And you're thinking Derby was literally minutes away from being in that situation. And you were saying it to me in the car on the way over here, like they are the key holders to what goes on at the end of the season, because
they've got us, Stoke, Hull, and they played Portsmouth yesterday. And the other game they've got is West Brom. So either Derby are going to be picking up points, or other teams are going to be picking up points, and Derby are going to drop. So,
but you look at, I looked at the way that their goal. I think it was their first goal. Yeah, it was their first goal because they scored their first goal rather than it being the own goal.
You mean the Atkinson hat trick?
Yeah, the Atkinson hat trick. Yeah, but Jerry Yates, the former Blackpool, and again, you know when you're talking about sort of that desire in the box, like he's not a tall fella, but what a header! Like what a header! And if you look at the actual like snapshot of when they scored, there was a good 4, 5, 6 players in there.
Yeah, how many do we have in there?
And that's the difference.
When we put in a cross.
That's the difference. There's pragmatism, and then there's just not giving ourselves the chances.
The thing is, when we do that against Leeds, and we do have men attacking, I know it was on the counter attack. You had Jones. I mean, the last 2 goals we scored was our left wing back Ali scoring, and then against Leeds our right wing back.
Yeah, but then you have those two, then you have the front two, and then you have no one in the middle. Making up, because Clark, he tries to get in there. Liam Walsh, he's like sort of the sitter. Aasgaard, he gets forward as well. But
I love Clark. He was getting properly rolled up yesterday as well, and rightly, because of their captain. Was it Travis?
Yeah. What?
I mean, Clark did obviously throw the ball. It hit him in the face.
No, it didn't. It hit him.
Was it hit him in the chest? Our angle, it looked like it
hit him in the chest. The ref was looking directly at it.
It's blatant time wasting. I mean,
he should have booked him. And
the fact that
fuming.
Their Blackburn player decided to have a chat rather than go and take the throw in. That's time wasting. And then
then Dolan got booked for having the ball way out the quadrant.
And that took about a minute for them to have their little chat, and
Well, the ref, he added it all on. He had it all on.
I don't think the ref had too bad of a game yesterday. He let a couple of things go. But
so the Derby one. I'm not overly hopeful, to be honest with you. I think that'll be the nail in the coffin, because look at the other.
Not mathematically.
Games. No, not
mathematically.
You're right. But I'm not being
mentally
funny. Look at who we've got. We've got Bristol City by the time we're playing, and we'll be looking to win to cement a place in the playoffs. Then you've got Coventry, who are chasing that last spot in the playoffs as well, and they could be nailing that spot. And then on the last game of the season, if by some miracle those last 2 places in the playoffs aren't nailed down, we've got West Brom are also chasing it. So this is why the last 2 games were so important, coupled with the Derby one. Now, if we went into the Derby game off the back of a win, and we're sitting on 43 points rather than 40 and joint bottom because Plymouth picks up a win, then you're thinking, right, okay, we can go and give this a bloody good go. But it just seems so bleak. I'll be honest with you.
We're actually relying on our away form might actually be our saving grace. When
and that's the thing.
You didn't think that was at all possible, a month ago, would you?
And that's the thing, you think we've got like Bristol City and Coventry at home. But the only thing that I would say is that when we've had games recently, when we've played Borough, when we've played Leeds, teams that are at the higher end of the table, we have played better. We have played better, and Blackburn, it felt like we dropped a level yesterday because we simply knew the importance of it, and we weren't playing against a particularly informed, brilliant side. But when we've been playing the better sides, we have been better. So
the thing, you look at the points we've picked up. I mean, it's not like we've gone out and it's been the theme this whole season. The points that we've picked up, have we deserved them? Did we? I mean, Stoke, I think we were lucky. Hull, these points that we're picking up, it's not like we properly deserve these points. The football's dire.
It's improved. It's improved up to the strikers. It has improved defensively.
Okay, defensively
you have to be solid. I don't want to see glory football. I just want to see a team that's hard to beat. And
I do want to see some football.
Yeah, well, there is some football. You have the likes of Clark, Aasgaard, and Walsh who can.
It's nice having a bit of excitement with when Aasgaard gets on the ball, when Clark gets on the ball, and they're driving forward. Yeah. It is nice to go. Something could happen.
And Ali on the ball.
Yeah, because for the vast majority of the season, there's not been any of that.
Yeah.
There's not been any sort of excitement about an individual getting on the ball.
I mean,
At
Ali
times,
was
even
having
Jones
Ali
can,
was
but he's
getting his chance
all too-
yesterday already, wasn't he? Like people like Ali,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden he was the worst player on the pitch. You know,
Yeah.
some fans
Short
need to have
memories.
a little bit of.
Yeah.
Short memories. Like, I'm not for digging anyone out other than Morris and Chong.
Yeah.
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 But everyone else, I think,
Yeah.
gotta
We were
get
just a
behind
little
them.
half yard off the pace
Like-
yesterday. I just think there was a little bit of fight, a little bit of desire, which was a bit lacking. But then again,
Yeah.
you know, played last weekend, played midweek, and then
Yeah.
you're playing at the weekend again, aren't you? So, you know,
Yeah.
and we're playing the same 11, apart from Doughty,
Yeah.
who is out injured now.
Yeah.
And
You know,
yeah,
they're
I mean, that's
playing
the
a
thing.
lot. They're getting a lot of minutes.
3
a lot
big
of miles
injuries
in
as
their
well
legs, isn't
in terms of our sort of main
Attackers.
players like
Yeah.
Adebayo, Doughty, being out, Brown. out
I'd
as
like
well
to
still.
see some youth get time. You know, like Taylor Harris has been training with the with the main squad for pretty much since he joined.
Yeah,
Then
I'm-
injuries. I'd like to see him get a go. You know, stick him on the bench. Zach Nelson,
Yeah.
give him a go.
Yeah.
Play him as a second striker instead of Chong.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyone but
Anyone but Chong. Seriously, like the guy is so powder puff. It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, like I say, I just hope that we can be talking next week after the Easter holidays or Easter weekend and still be in with a shout. I don't think it's going to be the case, though. I genuinely think that this
Yeah.
is going to break us this next weekend.
Yeah, very much so.
So, and we'll just have to be at ease with taking in some of our old school haunts, going back down to League One and playing some of those teams that we played a few years back.
Yeah, we haven't
Well,
spent
we're-
long in League One.
We're 4 points technically with our goal difference.
Our goal
aren't we?
difference is such a
Yeah.
killer.
But our goal difference is keeping us off bottom.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Wow.
true. But I saw something yesterday about Plymouth, and you kind of think like it's an interesting debate actually to put to you guys. Like, would you take, bearing in mind we're on the same points totals at the minute, would you take our season or would you take Plymouth's season, knowing that they've had the joys of beating a couple of Premier League teams, including Liverpool in the FA Cup? They've had the likes of beating Sheffield United yesterday, which was a wonderful comeback, and they may have been absolutely tanked at certain times, but they've had some joyous moments of absolute incredulous sort of like wins.
We've
They've
had
had a
one
5-0 win or something as well.
So
haven't
yeah,
we?
like what have we had? We've scraped 1-0
We've had
wins.
nothing. And
We had
Plymouth,
the Watford game was it.
Yeah.
That's it.
And Plymouth pretty much could have done the double over us as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they could have.
They had a perfectly good goal chalked off.
Yeah. So it's one of those ones where you kind of think.
They've had a better season.
Yeah,
Without doubt. We've had one. We've had the Watford win.
yeah.
And
Did you
then
see?
they beat us.
Did you see Ryan Dilk's bet that he's got on?
No.
I'm not loath to talk about gambling, but it's quite funny if we
Okay.
screw him over.
What is it?
So he's got a Trixie on.
I'll
that-
talk to him about it this
that
week.
that Birmingham were going to win the EFL trophy and League One. So
Okay.
League One they tied up yesterday. I think it was going to be that the three that are getting relegated from the Premier League are the three that are going to get relegated: Ipswich, Leicester,
Nailed on.
and Southampton, which is nailed on, and that Plymouth would finish bottom of the league.
Oh.
Now, yesterday he tweeted out, "I've never been so invested in the EFL trophy because now that Birmingham have won the league, they now need to win that trophy."
Yeah.
And I think he's got it's a £12 stake for over $2,500.
Oh, fair play to him.
So as a Trixie, because there's basically four things that have to come in. So anyway, the Plymouth being the bottom thing, before they played Sheffield United until about the
bet
80th
he's
minute
sweating it
yesterday,
now.
Ryan would have been going, "Oh yes, we'll have a bit of this. Go on, Sheffield United. Make sure that dig that nail into the coffin." Then we lose and they turn it round, and then it's only goal difference that we're not bottom. So I think that he'll be. If we beat Derby, as long as they survive, I don't think that he'll particularly mind for the sake of his bet.
That's hilarious.
Sorry, talking about gambling,
yeah.
I apologise. I went off on a tangent.
It's all right. It's all right. You know, just gamble with it. Gamble responsibly.
Gamble responsibly, and if
only
not,
bet on
just
sure
don't.
things. Like Luton game relegation. Right. I think that's probably us. You know. As always, thank you for watching, and thank you to our host, the Bricklayer's Arms. I think the Spring Beer Festival is still going on. Spring Beer and Cider Festival. You got to come down here. It's awesome. There's a snug outside. Yeah, there you go. I timed it between your cough. There's a snug outside. It looks really, really good. And thank you to our audio partners, Black Star Amplification and Carry On, for the toys that make this pod sound great. And as well, a big thank you to the record shop in Amersham. Wherever you are in the country, go on down to Amersham, get your vinyl. How was Record Shop Day?
I haven't spoken to him yet because I think my dad was knackered.
So
I'll get some feedback.
Yeah. It's lots of vinyl
a mad day.
on offer at the old record shop in Amersham. But most importantly,
Come on, you Hatters.
Come on, you Hatters.
come on, you Hatters.